Huh? Dig. Hole. Huh? Dirt.
Hey now, and welcome down to KC Toy Reviews. We are here today with Christian Bale's Batman, the DX19 version by Hot Toys from the best Batman trilogy of all time. And that's right, I said it. Bane, Batman, Ra's al Ghul, Joker, best trilogy of all time. But in front of us, we have an absolute goddamn masterpiece. Hot Toys knocked it out of the park with this one. We're going to compare it against a DX12. Maybe we're going to even throw a Joker in there. So, together, let's go ahead, hold hands, close our eyes, and trust me as we jump off this cliff into the amazingness of Batman and dive right the hell goddamn in. All right, so here we have it. Now, sometimes I do have to apologize. My intro, I might have went out of control because I am overly excited. If you know anything about me, I am obsessed with Batman and Joker. I gotta have it. I gotta have every single one of them. And man, have I been excited to see what type of improvements and upgrades we are going to have on the DX12. And of course, in front of us lies the DX19 by Hot Toys. And of course, as I've mentioned, this thing is a masterpiece. As always, Hot Toys has knocked it out of the park. They set the bar for quality. Clearly, they are the leader in the 1/6 scale arena. We might have some third-party companies creeping up along behind them. So has matched them in quality in a few figures. Maybe Gambit comes to mind immediately as a Hot Toys-ish quality, but still, Hot Toys is top of their game. And of course, soon down the road, we're going to have InArt/Queen Studios going to battle them, and I have a feeling that they could possibly take the new king of 1/6, but obviously I'm jumping the gun here. We're going to see about that down the road. I think the Joker releases in September by InArt/Queen Studios. But we don't give a crap about the Joker right now. We don't give a crap about Queen Studios, InArt. We care about what's in front of us. And it's an incredible figure. Look at the intricate detail by Hot Toys. I mean, right in front of us, I see so many intricate layers that it blows me away. I see cloth, I see carbon fiber, I see some plastic, I see a utility belt that kind of reminds me of a metalish look. We have this incredible cape that weaves over, and there might be some downfalls to that cape, so don't jump on me right away. There are going to be a few small downfalls. However, the initial look, the initial observation is Hot Toys killed it with this one. First off, let's take a quick deep dive into the head sculpts. Thank God the Hot Toys has gone the magnet route, so boom, we're just pulling that one off. Bada bing, we're dropping that one back in. Now you gotta love this one here. This face sculpt here, always the I'm saying words with an F. I don't know, that's what I'm imagining him doing, but this is the goofiest, weirdest face sculpt that he comes with. I could do that all day long with this guy. But anyways, so on top of the incredible magnet system, this one here is the sonar head sculpt, or whatever the hell we want to call it. So I'll go ahead and turn the eyes on here. Zoop. So boom. How badass is that? Now, I'm usually kind of a naysayer about the LEDs and the lights, especially, man, I had the Ninja Batman and the LEDs were just god-awful, just a piece of crap. Completely a waste of your time on that. Now, the fact that we are picking up these LEDs under a bright light system like this, and there we have it with the lights off. So yeah, what a badass bright head system on there. Putting the batteries in the head, whew! I mean, I would have preferred to gone Honey, I Shrunk the Kids mode and literally climbed inside the helmet to place those batteries because it was a pain in the goddamn ass. You needed tweezers and you really needed to finagle those batteries in there. Now, of course, as I'm saying this, if you've ever had an Iron Man by Hot Toys or basically anything that's ever had batteries, it's the same thing. You need tweezers and a magnetic screwdriver so you don't lose those tiny, tiny little screws. But anyways, getting those batteries in there is a slight pain in the ass. And lights back on. Let's go ahead and switch this head sculpt back to the other one. Bing! And how easy is that? So In my opinion, all 1/6 scale should use magnet systems because it is flawless and very easy to change the head sculpts back in and out, as you just saw. Now, on top of the head sculpt that we have here, we do have another couple. We do have these other two little chin swap outs. Up. And of course, before we move on, let's zoom in one last time on this face sculpt and admire the incredible glisten and detail to the eyes. Now, overall, with the chin sculpt, the face, and the mask, I think they have knocked it out of the park. We can see a nice skin tone to that chin sculpt there. Again, a glisten to the eyes, the dark kind of paint that he painted around his eyes also to blend with the mask. It just really brings back memories of this incredible, if not best of all time, version of Batman. And before we move off the head sculpt, he does come with this little tool here. The reasoning behind the tools, if you can see the eyes in shot, we can move them. So the eyes are movable with this tool, which just adds a little bit extra depth and layer to your dynamic poses. Who doesn't want to control those sexy Batman eyes? I know I do. Now, taking a deep dive into the chest area and then the utility belt, I don't know if I'm just overly excited because I love Batman, I love this trilogy, but the details on this are out of control. As I mentioned earlier, I see some carbon fiber, some dark plastic, some cloth, the metallic belt that's around him, the cape that's kind of beautifully wrapped around his arms. Just overall, the view right here is stunning. Dare I say this could look real under the right lens. I mean, again, the details here are so accurate and amazing. I just think Hot Toys has killed it with this thing. And I guess just... Oh! Well, I guess it's a good time to show you here. That thing knocked him down so goddamn hard it hit his chin sculpt out of there. So that's the chin sculpt. And you have the little weird mask. I shouldn't even say what I'm thinking right now. With a ridiculous little hole in his mouth right there. Anyways, but how about I'll do this for the PG? Let's pretend that's what he's doing with that mask there. All right. Anyways, if you watch my videos, I would say, 1 out of every 10 reviews, I'm dropping something or I'm breaking or destroying something. But anyways, I wanted to show the belt. The only thing I really wanted to show was how it can shift up and down, and you do have a little bit of freedom with the belt. So if yours comes jacked up like that, don't fret. You can just kind of push it down a little bit there. But overall, the utility belt is amazing, fantastic detail. Once we get to the comparison segment, I will say it's almost identical to the old one, the DX12, but this is probably one of the best Batman utility belts out there. All the other ones are those very stereotypical yellow cloth, little pouches, little stupid pouches all around him. And I love Batman, so I don't really think they're stupid. But I was just saying it because as I look at this is just goddamn awesome. And that is a badass utility belt. Now, swinging this guy to the back and taking a look at the cape, initial observations were it's decent. I think it's a good cape, not much different from the DX12. There was slight wiring in the DX12 at the top part of the cape. Again, we'll go over that in the comparison section, but no wiring whatsoever. So I would say as a huge Batman collector, not having a wired cape is just a big miss, especially if you're going to give us a DX. I don't know how much more money that could have cost. $10, $5. I would have paid it to get a wired cape on this. Now I got to go out of my way, look for a custom cape, which I will do. But due to the size, the complexity, and the beauty of the cape on the Christian Bale suit, if we had a wired cape right out of the box, I just think overall we would have freaked out. It just would have been an amazing, amazing upgrade to the DX19 from the DX12, including a wired cape. But they didn't include it, so I'm not going to hammer it too much. It still looks nice. As I mentioned through the shot here, it drapes well, it hits the ground well, it's oversized. I like that large Batman cape look on him. It's a pretty straightforward cloth material, nothing special about it. When I felt the cape, there was nothing that went through me saying, wow, they really went extra mile with the cape quality or anything like that. It looks nice through the lens. There could have been a couple improvements as far as wire, and as I'm saying it again, again, maybe an upgrade in the quality, but maybe there's an accuracy or something that I'm missing there. However, I think adding a wire and a different quality, an upgrade in the quality of the cape truly could have elevated this figure to the next level and knocked it out of the park. And quickly, before we move on to the accessories, I do want to note as far as articulation wise, I don't drill into it like some videos where they're picking up the figure and here's where the elbow can bend and the knee can bend. I mean, I don't know. I think it's ridiculous. If it's horrible, I'm going to tell you. If it's a piece of crap, I'm going to tell you. The one thing that I will stress, this area right here is awful. Oh, God. You know what? I'm going to do the rest of the review just like this. In the lighting, he just looks so badass standing without the stand. That's why I do it over and over. But at this point, this is the second time he's fallen flat on his face or his back. So maybe we're just going to have to keep him on the stand the rest of the video. But what I was saying again, articulation-wise, on the upper kind of thighs here and legs, crotch area, absolutely god-awful garbage. Pretty shocked how bad the articulation is here. Your knees, they are double jointed, so it's kind of interesting they went that route. However, I don't know if I would push it like that, maybe for a couple pictures here and there. But with that said, there is really nice articulation from kind of the knees down. We do have a split cuff or whatever everybody's calling it over here, so kind of nice articulation on the boots there. And then the arms underneath kind of this nice carbon fiber black suit, heavy plastic here. We do have a nice cloth material under here. So the arms have fantastic articulation. And I say you can push it a little bit and keep it in some nice poses without fear of damaging it. And then, of course, because of this really stiff body, the mid-range basically does nothing. And then the head range, you do have a good range because it's a magnetic head. Look at tapping him on the head here like, actually, I'm knighting him. Sir Batman. Because it is a magnetic head, you have great articulation and movement there. And then beyond the magnet, which sits on top of it, the neck itself can move around and articulate slightly as well. So again, great range from the neck and the head up. And here we have the accessories. First, all the way to the right here, we have the EMP gun. Now this does kind of go back like that, so that does go back and forth there. There is a battery system in the EMP gun. However, it looks so bad that I'm not even going to waste my time. You can barely see it. Unlike the sonar headpiece here, that was very bright, vibrant. I could see it under bright lights as well. That one was worth the price of admission. This just looked like crap, putting the batteries in that. Waste of time, in my opinion. And next up, we have here the sticky gun. I don't know why. This thing just feels a little kind of, you can kind of see in shot here, it's kind of like moving around a little bit. It just feels a little more janky in my opinion. It does come into two pieces just like in the movie there. And then you do have the option of kind of breaking it down. All the pieces like that. So you now have it here, or again, you can bring it back to this motion here. But as I mentioned, it's just really, I don't know. I don't know why. I know this is a very classic movie moment here. It's just, this is almost the worst piece of all the accessories in my opinion. This is really badass. Simple paint scheme to it. They didn't really do anything. A very just kind of matte black to it. No weathering or really much of anything. It reminds me almost of a G.I. Joe gun, in my opinion. But this is kind of cool. I don't know why. I'm just not a fan of that piece here. And then, of course, we have his grappling gun. Pew, pew. And as I mentioned, when the guy fell over, we do have our chin sculpts here. So we got this one here. Kind of there. And then this one here. More of a simple, elegant. And next up, we have the sonar head sculpt. Underneath, you have the on-off, as I showed you earlier. And let's just show one last time, because I do think it's actually cool. It's rare for me to think a lighting on any type of 1.6 is cool, but that's pretty badass. I don't know why. I think that's pretty neat. So, other than that weird chin skull, I'm Batman, Now, in my opinion, one of the most exciting upgrades to the DX9 was a new Bruce Wayne head sculpt. So as you can see here, again, a really nice likeness of Bruce Wayne. They just really went that extra mile, as I mentioned several times. A nice glisten to the eyes, beautiful skin tone. I would say decent likeness to Christian Bale, in my opinion. We'll do a comparison to the DX12. But overall, I think the head sculpt is spot on, and it leaves a lot of opportunities, especially if you want to do a Bruce Wayne custom, if you want to do a Ninja Batman custom. I mean, really having this head sculpt is next level. I would say something like this on the eBay/aftermarket. I mean, it's going to run you with quality like this, $80 to $100 alone. So yeah, having this upgraded head sculpt, I think truly adds a lot of value to this DX19 set. And next up, we have 3 batarangs. The top piece is a neck connector for if you want to do the Bruce Wayne head sculpt, and then the bottom 2 pieces there are bomb/bat mines. Not too excited here. The paint scheme to the batarangs I think is decent. Heard a couple complaints out there that they are not die cast. However, the untrained eye, when they're sitting inside your shelf, I guarantee you, I would bet you $277 that nobody would be able to tell the goddamn difference. So whether these are die cast or not really is irrelevant to the situation. They have a nice paint application to them. And if you're going to use a batarang and you're standing a few feet away as it is, I mean, this thing is going to look like a goddamn ant anyways to you. So I would say as it is, they are beautiful, and I do not have any complaints about these accessories. And I mean, I wanted to save the most exciting accessory for last. That's right, hands. You see how exciting this is? I mean, whew! I can't even control myself looking at these hands. I'm like, I did a cartwheel just now. You can't tell by my voice, but I did 3 cartwheels. I just did 3 cartwheels as I'm looking at these hands. It's exciting. So yeah, 2 pairs of hands. Whew! Hold on, everybody. This is crazy. All right, so here we have what I might consider the most important and exciting segment of this entire review, and that is the side-by-side of the DX19 and the DX12. Now, before I tell you which one is which, I'm going to pause for a hot second and ask, can you truly tell the difference? Now, I can pick up the difference because I've been staring at these 2 bastards for the last hour and a half now. So yes, I can pick up the difference. But at first, when I put them side by side, I will say that it was very difficult to see what the upgrades were. Other than the one glaring and obvious upgrade is the body on the one on the right. So, the one on the left is the DX12, the one on the right is the DX19. The big upgrade to the bodies that I can see is it is a little bit skinnier and taller than the one on the left. So the one on the left is a little bit stockier, the one on the right is now a little bit slimmer, and dare I say the proportions are now better and a little bit more movie accurate. But beyond the size, I would say that it is very difficult for the untrained eye to pick up the difference between these 2 suits. Now, I can point out a couple differences that I can see through the lens here. The color of the belts is slightly different. Now, I just want to stress it is the color only. The belts themselves are identical. On top of the belt, we have the suits. Now, the kind of carbon fiber-ish areas, around his chest plate here, there's a little bit of difference between the DX19 and the 12 as to where it's a little more see-through in these areas in this one. However, we're talking like a 20% difference, 25%, 20% difference. I'm not sure if it makes any difference where I would say, wow, I can't believe they did this. Now, with that said, yes, the one on the right, the DX19, does look better. The way that they're pulling this off this round does look slightly more accurate. The overall details are absolutely fantastic, but that's not to knock the DX12. For as old as that figure is, it holds up and looks phenomenal still. So the fact that the DX12 is as old as it is, and these are the minor upgrades we have after this many years, I'd say that, wow, they really truly pulled off a stunning feat that many years ago to where we just have these minor upgrades to this DX19 that many years later. I would also want to note that the articulation on the DX19 is definitely better than the DX12. The suit, the underlying like black cloth suit, is a little bit more forgiving and has way more articulation, in my opinion, than the DX12. Now, I know I mentioned earlier the DX12 has a wire that starts right about here on the cape and goes, I would say, right about here. So there is minor wire articulation on the DX12. They didn't do that on the 19. However, that being said, it was such a minor amount. I mean, an inch, literally probably an inch down, that I don't know if it makes any difference. Maybe it sits better. Maybe it sits a little bit nicer on the DX19 because there's no wire in there. I think that one lies into personal preference on the buyer. In my opinion, I don't really think I give a crap whether it had a wire or not. Through the lens right now, I can't really notice much of a difference other than the fact that I do know that there's a wire on the DX12. And of course, being that this is a DX figure, you are going to get an upgraded stand. Every DX figure comes with a nice, beautiful stand, a little bit different from the normal hollow kind of stereotypical Hot Toys stand. And of course, this round we do have the same stand that we got with the DX12. As you can see on the left with the DX12 and the right, the DX19, there's barely any difference whatsoever. I mean, they've highlighted the cracks on the Batman symbol with a darker kind of black outline, if you can see that on the right. And then we have some more black speckles on the one on the right on the cement there versus the one on the left. But again, I don't know. Personal preference. I don't think that there's really a big difference on the two. I don't know if I give a crap if it has darker shading on the right or lighter shading on the left. I think both stands look fantastic. The one thing that I will note that's superior about one over the other is the DX12 on the left has the metallic looking plaque on it versus the one on the right, the DX19. I think they truly downgraded in that category. The plaque on the left clearly, especially if we're going to take a poll, looks way better than the one on the right. It's a small gripe, but when we are in the DX category, we're going to look and hone in on these small details. So surprised that we downgraded the plaque on the DX19 from the 12. However, this is such a small gripe that's not even going to affect the score in the end. It's just something to stress that we are downgrading slightly from a figure that is way older. Okay, now here we have the two Bruce Wayne head sculpts. Now I immediately started chuckling because the one on the left, the DX12, I was fully prepared to defend and say, this one holds up. The only thing that I'm now thinking is through the lens, I don't know, it's just looking a little weird, dare I say, like cross-eyed, or he's looking up into the sky or something. Just something is really odd about the look on the one on the left. And then, of course, the one on the right is the DX9 with the new and improved head sculpt. Personally, I think it's your opinion in the end that matters most. Do you like the one on the left? Do you like the one on the right? Prior to having them under the lens, something about the one on the left on the DX12 I still liked a little bit better. Dare I say the DX19 on the right looked younger, something along those lines. However, the paint application, the hair and stuff definitely looks a little bit better and a little more sleek on the one on the right. And then last thing I do have to note, I did some slight modifications to the DX12 head sculpt because I do use that on a Ninja Batman. So I took it off of that and put it back on here. So I think that we're seeing a slight giraffe neck-ish look to the one on the left. And the only reason I do want to mention that is because we are comparing these side by side, and I think that the neck sits slightly better than it does in shot right here because of the modifications I did to it. Do you like the DX12 or do you like the DX19? I have a feeling that popular opinion is going to go with the DX19. It looks a little bit more clean. And like I said, there's something weird about the look the DX12 is giving us through the lens right now. Something just really odd about the eyes and the mouth. But I do know that one of the selling points to the DX19 was the upgraded sculpt. I do almost think that I want to keep him as we see him here with the Bruce Wayne head sculpt as if he's just taken off his mask. It is such a fantastic, clean look to it that I am very excited to have another way to pose one of the best Batman of all time on my shelf. One with the mask, one without the mask. Now, just to quickly show you, we have the DX12, aka the old version. I do want to show you how well the DX19 head sculpt fits on here. Put it on here like this. And there you have it. I mean, I actually think, I said in the previous shot there, there's a slight proportion that might be off, because the other one was a little bit taller, slimmer body on it, but I don't know if I can tell the difference. I think it looks badass. I now feel like I can use these upgraded head sculpts on my DX12 if I want to keep the DX19 with the Bruce Wayne head sculpt, which just leaves me with tons of exciting options how to pose these guys now. So just to stress one last time, we have a DX12 body in the DX19 Batman head sculpt. They fit fantastically with one another. And there we have it. Christian Bale's Batman, The Dark Knight DX19. Now, this is arguably one of the best versions of Batman on the 1/6 scale market. It most certainly rivals and beats the Arkham Knight Batman, the one where he has a little computer on his arm. And now that's a great suit, don't get me wrong, but this is way better. The proportions are a little bit better. This thing is badass and probably the definitive version of Batman to own, unless you just don't like the Christian Bale trilogy, which you're crazy because it is the best Batman trilogy to date. Now, don't get me wrong. I did see the one with Robert Pattinson, and I thought they did a fantastic job. Very dark, gritty, grounded, a great version of Batman. But I'm sorry, you have not dethroned the Christian Bale, Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy. It is just the best, and especially out of those three movies, The Dark Knight with the Joker, the best of all time. Closing notes before we slap a score on this guy. Now, are the upgrades worth it if you have the DX12? In my opinion, not for $300. No, I wouldn't say go out there, spend $300, get the upgrade, because you're going to notice a tremendous difference. We saw side by side, they look very similar to one another. Now, if you don't have the DX12, go out there right now and buy this thing. The DX19 is amazing, and typically in the Hot Toys market, DX do raise in price. So once this thing sells out, it probably will go up in price on the aftermarket. Now, what are the downfalls on this guy? Not much. Really, truly, there are not much. The only thing that I could truly think of is maybe some slight limitations on the articulations, as we mentioned, on the upper thighs, midsection area. And then, of course, the cape. The cape is a little more of an opinion thing. I think that as a stock cape, it still looks amazing. I'm not knocking it. And then the last thing, they downgraded the plaque on the stand, but who gives a crap? That's such a stupid thing. I'm slapping myself for even saying it. I think I'm noting it because I noticed it, but I don't think I truly care about such a thing. Overall, this is a stunning piece of artwork. Right from the eyes/head sculpt all the way down to the feet. Everything about this is amazing. Hot Toys has knocked it out of the park as always. We knew that they were going to knock it out of the park because DX12 was great. And if we're just upgrading the DX12, then what do we have to expect other than amazingness? So, I'm going to shut the hell up. And with all that said, we're going to slap a score on this guy. And you know what it reminds me of? Recently, we had the Amazing Spider-Man. Again, kind of one of the best versions of Spider-Man out there. And it reminds me of this in front of us. One of the best versions of Batman out there. So, as far as a score on this guy, it's going to be very high. I can't think of too much wrong. I'm not going to slap this too much because of articulation, because if we know the 1/6 scale market out there, articulation is very difficult, and it is rare to get a guy from top to bottom that can just bend and articulate like crazy. With that being said, I'm going to go with a 9.4 out of 10. That's right, probably one of the highest scores I've given, and I don't think that I'm being biased just because I love Batman. I just think this thing is mind-blowing, and it's going to be a long time before somebody else comes to the market with a Batman that can rival this piece. And with a 9.4, we need to jump to saying, get it. Do I recommend it? Absolutely! You should be getting this now. You should be multitasking. Either if you have a phone or a computer, you should be still watching this review and buying this guy at the same time. And I do want to note that toysbuyingagent.com does have this in stock right now. I do have the links below in the description if you want to quick click that and get over there and purchase that. Toysbuyingagent.com has fantastic pricing, fantastic shipping, and absolutely fantastic customer service. I would say that they are top-notch, one of the best out there. With all that being said, one of the best Batmans of all time, one of the highest scores here at KC Toys of all time at a 9.4. We're going to go ahead and sign off here today at KC Toys. Christian Bale, Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy. Wish we had a part 4 with Robin and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, but we don't. See you guys next time. Bye!
Huh?